This is Hero News.
A very good afternoon. We've been around the ground, and these are some of the stories that are actually making headlines. 11 die at the Kenya National Hospital. Karanja Kabage is laid to rest. And the lecturers demand more and more. This and much more from Hero Radio News Desk. My name is Koyo. Join me from this very minute up to the very end. Welcome. 11 babies died at the Kenyatta National Hospital's newborn unit last week, and a drug-resistant bacterium known as Lebicella is suspected to be the cause. The fourth estate has now learned. The situation was aggravated by lack of the most basic products for taking care of the babies. Sources at the hospital who did not actually want to be named for fear of reprisal said the neonates, a medical term for babies under 1 month, died last week due to Casibella and other factors compounded by the poor state of the ward. Nurses, the media has now observed that they had to actually improvise feeding baby tubes and syringes, which caused the babies to bleed in their noses and the mouth. Of course, this is a very bad situation. It's a story that we're actually following for you from the Kenyatta National Hospital. It's not the first time we are actually having a similar situation from the same hospital. And now to matters education. Lecturers have now tabled their salary demands to the Ministry of Labour as was directed by the Labour Court. The lecturers through the Universities Academic Staff Union, also known as UASU, want their salaries tripled, citing hard economic times. The chief economist at the Ministry of Labour is now expected to go through the demands and file an economic report in court. The economic report is to be compiled by the Central Planning Unit at the Ministry of Labour. Of course, their proposal, if actually given a clean bill of health, is going to see the lecturers getting a huge amount allocated for the house allowance, academic professional allowance, and also book allowance. Back to Nakuru, city lawyer and politician Karanja Kabage has been buried at his Mangu home in Rongai. The late Kabage passed away on the 5th of July, on the 11th actually, following a road accident near his current home in Nairobi. The lawyer was among the front runners in the Nakuru Senator race in 2017 poll. He, however, lost the Jubilee Party ticket to current Senator Susan Kihika. Our deepest condolences to the friends and families of the late Karanja Kabage. May his soul actually rest in peace. And to politics now. Maendeleo Chap party leader Alfred Mutua has reaffirmed his resolve to succeed President Kenyatta as Kenya's 5th president, and has assured the nation that he will reveal his coalition partner at the right time. Dr. Mutua also threw in a challenge to fellow political leaders to utilize the current time and opportunity in serving Kenyans through promoting transformative development and positive social cohesion. The Machakos governor, who was joined by his Kisumu and Isiolo counterparts Anyang' Nyong'o and Muhammad Kuti, respectively, at the launch of the Model Community Health Program in Isiolo on Thursday, urged leaders eyeing the presidency come 2022 to focus on positive development agenda and shun divisive politics. We take a few seconds breather right now on Hero Radio News. We have international news in a few seconds. Don't you go away. Nice. Let's now cross borders to Sudan. The United Nations in Southern Sudan, also known as UNMISS, says the Southern Sudan's government troops killed at least 400 civilians in the central Equatoria between September 2018 and April 2019. In a report released on Wednesday, the UN states that Juba-backed forces deliberately killed civilians, in pretense that they were actually rebel supporters. South Sudan Army spokesperson Lul Ruai Kong denied the finding, saying the report cannot substantiate the element that have been attributed to the US. Also, the spokesperson Lul also accused the UN of having malicious intentions against the government of South Sudan. Of course, we know South Sudan has been having trouble for a long time right now. It actually forced the president to appoint Kalonzo Musyoka as a special envoy to the Southern Sudan, just trying to ensure that this nation, the youngest nation so far so good, gets peace, and they actually need it. Let's now cross borders to the United States. The U.S. budget deficit jumped to 23.1% in the first 9 months of the fiscal year compared with the same period last year. According to the US Treasury, the deficit widened from US dollars 747.1 billion versus US dollars 607 billion last year from October through June. Federal spending rose from US dollars 3.36 trillion in that period, while revenue increased from US dollars 2.61 trillion, both records. The number released on Thursday in a monthly report from the Treasury painted a darkening picture for the US budget as the federal government runs short on credit. A number of factors are driving the deficit increase, including the US dollars 1.1 trillion tax cut signed by President Donald Trump in 2017, along with massive spending package. But on the other side, the Trump administration is predicting that the deficit will likely to exceed US dollars 1 trillion for the entire fiscal year, which ends on September 30th this year. This actually sums up to a total of US dollars 777 billion per year. We take a short breather right now. Sports is up next. To go away. Thank you so much for keeping it Hero Radio News. My name is Koyo, and these are some of the stories we have from the grounds right now as far as sports is concerned. Of course, the African Cup of Nations is actually getting down to the wire right now. It's down so far so good to 4 teams. Of course, we have the semi-finals going down between Senegal and Tunisia. That is actually the first semi-final game that is going to be played, and the second one is actually going to pitch Nigeria against Nigeria. The final could potentially be an all West African or North African affair. It could also be a battle between West and North Africa perennial football power blocks. That is actually Nigeria and Algeria. Of course, worth noting in this conversation about the semi-final is that Senegal is the only team that has yet to test the African Cup of Nations glory in the quartet. Nigeria, so far so good, have won it thrice, while Algeria and Tunisia have actually won it twice. So it's actually going to be really amazing to see Senegal being crowned champions. That is if they're actually going to beat Tunisia, and the winner between Nigeria and Algeria. That is all we had right now. Much more to follow in our subsequent bulletins. Stay good. Fiesta Africa continues right now with Presenter's Vice President. Stay good.